welcome back to another episode of the Soma Sports Broadcast. I am here with
Philip,
Brandon,
Jaden,
and of course I'm Benny. And today, let's get started off. Last week, the Soma's varsity football team took on Lakeland. It was an away game, but me and Jaden still did a virtual broadcast. You can check that out. It's on our YouTube, and it was domination most of the day by Somers. Somers led 42-0 at half, and then the backup team got another touchdown to win 49-0. It's just domination on all sides of the ball by Somers. Now we're going to take a look at last week's predictions by all of us. And
Benny's prediction was one off again. It was 48-0.
So close. All right, so now we're going to predict Somers versus Clarkstown South. It's our first playoff game, and we're going to predict the game. We are recording this the day of the game, so this episode will be out afterwards, but we're still going to predict it because why not? So, Jaden, you want to go first?
I think 28-21.
I think Somers is going to take it 42-14.
I have it Somers taking this game 35-14. Since it's a playoff game, I do think it's going to be a little closer because there's more risk involved.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 42-10. They're both really strong. Got some really good defenses, but Somers obviously the better team, so I'm going to go with them.
All right, so now we're going to predict the 2024 Section 1 football tournament, and I'll get started. So Somers versus Clarkstown South, you obviously know. I got Somers.
Harrison versus Mayapack. I have Mayapack winning.
All right, I got Eastchester and Yorktown. I have Yorktown winning this game. They're up there in the rankings right now. They've had a pretty good season.
It's Brewster versus Rye. I got an upset. I got Brewster. I know a lot of people from Brewster, and I know they've been trying to put their heart out, and they said this. I talked to them. They said this game they're going to try their best. So I think Brewster's going to come out on top.
All right, and in the semifinals, we have Somers against Mayapack. I obviously have Somers taking this game. They did beat Mayapack in the regular season. I think they're going to do it again.
All right, so now it's Brewster versus Yorktown after what Philip said. I think Yorktown would take it. Brewster hasn't been doing so well this season, and I think Yorktown's a little stronger.
All right, so now we got Somers and Yorktown in the 2024 Section 1 football tournament championship, and I think it's going to be Somers who takes it.
All right, now we're going to move on to some MLB news. The World Series came to an end this past week. Very unfortunate for Yankees fans. So the Dodgers had a hot start. They went up 3-0. Freddie Freeman hit multiple home runs. I believe he had one home run in almost every game. I believe he did not have one in the last game. But the Yankees took Game 4, and at the start of Game 5, right away, Yankees took a 5-0 lead. And then in the 5th inning, the Yankees gave up 5 unearned runs that started with Aaron Judge dropping a routine line drive, and also Garrett Cole not covering first base, which would have led to a different outcome later in the game. But the Yankees lost that game, so the Dodgers win the World Series 4-1.
Hey folks, what another exciting week in the NFL. A lot of excitement, a lot of upsets. We had one of the craziest plays in NFL history. What a crazy week number 8. Let's take a look. It's the fastest 3 minutes. Here we go. Let's get started. Rams versus Vikings, Thursday Night Football. Rams coming to this at 2-0. Vikings coming off their first loss. But with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back, big game by Robinson as well. The Rams are easily able to cruise to their 3rd victory of the season. The Chiefs have been undefeated since last Christmas, where they played the Raiders. Mahomes throws a pick there, but with the lead of the Chiefs defense, Mahomes and the Chiefs are able to stay undefeated. The Chiefs are 7-0. We got the Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens come into this at a 5-game winning streak. Browns come in at a 5-game losing streak. No Deshaun Watson. No problem. What a day for Jameis Winston. There he goes, throwing to Tillman. Upset in Cleveland. The Browns get their 2nd win of the year. A rainy day in Seattle. No problem for Josh Allen and the Bills. Dominant day for the Bills. Bills are 6-2. Lions, Titans, the first half was closer, but it was domination for the Lions all day. There goes Montgomery to Sam Laporta. Lions win 52-14. Packers take on the Jaguars.
Jordan Love down, but Malik Willis shows up. No Jordan Love, no problem. Malik Willis is able to lead the Packers to the win. Packers win 30-27. Eagles versus Bengals, a game I've had circled on my calendar all season, but today it was Jalen Hurts and the Eagles who showed up. Eagles dominate. Eagles win 37-17. Texans take on the Colts. Anthony Richardson's second game back, but it's Joe Mixon. He will go. Touchdown Texans there. Texans win. We find out after this game the Colts bench Richardson for Flacco. Falcons versus Buccaneers. How will the Buccaneers do without their top two receivers? Falcons will sweep the Bucs this season. Atlanta controls the NFC South. Tua's first game back. Great to see him back. First time since week 2, but it was a close game throughout the game. However, it's the Cardinals who kicks the winning field goal. Cardinals win. They're 4-4. Bo Nix threw for 3 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown for Denver as they beat the Panthers. Broncos are 5-3. Chargers Saints. Justin Herbert 2. Lad McConkey. Chargers dominate against the Saints. They're 4-3. Jets. Patriots. Jets come off. They're losing 4 in a row. Patriots have their longest losing streak of 6-0. Patriots? Like I predicted, Patriots upset the Jets here. Jets lose 5 in a row. Both teams are now 2-6. Monday Night Football, we have the Steelers and the Giants. There goes Russell Wilson to Austin. Jones throws to Neighbors there. But it's domination by the Steelers as the Steelers are going to win it 26-18. And finally on Sunday, we have the battle of the rookie QBs. It all comes down to this final play. There goes Daniels up, just a Hail Mary. Will he get it? Bounces off the Bears defenders. Touchdown, an unbelievable play. Let's take a look at this one more time. Daniel goes back deep, one more chance. Daniel scrambles around the defenders. He's going to go back in the pocket. He's going to throw it up in the air. One more player. It will go. Hits the defenders, and it's caught. An unbelievable Hail Mary. And the Commanders stun the Bears. In Daniels to Noah Brown. And the Commanders are going to win 15-18. And that is our fastest 3 minutes for this week. Back to the episode.
So this coming weekend is week 10 of the NFL, and we're going to do our NFL prediction.
It's good, yeah. So it's going to be a Lions-Texans game, week 10. I think it's going to be really good. I just watched the game last night, Texans-Jets. The Texans lost 21-13 to the poverty Jets. So I'm just going to go with the Lions 35-14, maybe even 42-14, just because they're such a great and dominant team. And then next I got the Bills versus the Colts. Joe Flacco is starting for the Colts. They benched Anthony Richardson, but it shouldn't matter anyways because the Bills, I think, are going to also win 42-21. What about you, Brandon?
All right, for my first game, I'm predicting the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think Jaden's going to like what I have to say about this one. I have the Eagles winning this game 38-27. I don't like it as a Cowboys fan, but I just think that's what's going to happen, unfortunately. And then the Jets and Cardinals, 42-21. Cardinals.
Alright, so I got the Lions and the Texans, and 2 really good teams, 2 teams that I really like overall, and I just think, however, the Lions are just the better team right now. Rough loss for the Texans against the Jets. C.J. Stroud has not been playing as good as he should be, and I think with losing Stephon Diggs, I just think the Lions are the better team at this moment, so I have the Lions taking it 38-24, and then my other game is 2 great teams this season. We have the Steelers and the Commanders, and I think the Steelers are going to get the upset, and I think they're going to beat the Commanders 30-26.
All right, now my predictions. I think the Giants will win against the Panthers 13-7. And I'm doing the same matchup as Brandon with the Eagles and Cowboys. I think the Eagles are going to win 27-21.
Alright, so now we're on to NASCAR. So this past week, it was Miami, and it was an exciting race. There was a final restart, and in the final laps, it was Denny Hamlin who took the lead. But soon after that, Ryan Blaney caught up to battle with Hamlin and passes Hamlin for the lead. And then, as Blaney starts to pull away, the 45 of Tyler Reddick catches up and passes Hamlin and passes Blaney for the win. So Tyler Reddick wins, so that means Reddick and Logano are the 2 cars who advanced into the championship four. The question I have for you guys is, who's going to take the other 2 spots?
For me, right now, I think it's going to be Bell and Hamlin. I don't really watch, too much NASCAR, but I watched like a little bit, and I think those two are really good. So I think I'm just gonna go with them.
All right, I have Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott taking it for the next 2 spots.
I have Bell and Larson and Benny.
And I have Bell. So Bell has the most points by a long shot right now. I think he's in, regardless if he wins or not, he's just far enough ahead. The final spot, I have Larson. Larson has not had a good 2 races, but that's happened to him in all other rounds of the playoffs. And race 3, he's been able to persevere and win to advance to the next round, even if he's in on points or not. And I think he'll do it here to secure a spot in the championship 4. And I think Larson wins Martinsville, and the final 4 will be Larson, Bell, Reddick, and Logano. So next up, we have our interview of the week. All right, so we are here with
Mason Kelly. Gavin Kelly.
and today we will be interviewing you about a few questions varsity football. So first, let's start off. What position do you play?
I am the fullback, and I also play a little bit on defense. It's called the dog. It's more of like an outside linebacker, a little bit of defensive end.
I play wide receiver, and I'm also our kicker. I don't really do anything on defense.
Okay.
How did you guys end up playing those positions?
I think since I was really young, it kind of all depends on what you did in youth football. So I was the fullback. That was just always where I'd like to play, and I grew up watching the Eagles, and one of my favorite players was LaShawn McCoy. That's actually why I wear number 25. So that really kind of inspired me to try out running back, and ever since then I just stuck with it.
Actually answered one of our later questions.
I'll cover more of it.
Okay.
I'm same situation as him. All throughout youth, I was a receiver, and I was our kicker too. So I kind of just stuck with it.
All right. So why did you first decide to play football?
I think a lot of it has to do with like the physicality. I like get hitting people, and I honestly like getting hit too. Like, it's fun. It lets you kind of release stress sometimes, I think. So growing up doing that, it's just it was a good way to let emotions out if you needed to. And at the same time, I think there's a lot of complexity to it. The game itself is difficult to understand, but once you kind of get to that level of discipline where you're able to execute, the game itself really helps develop you.
I think I play football because I grew up as a kid watching and playing it. I would always watch football with him, my dad, just our whole family. The Eagles we would watch all the time. That's our team, and we just all loved it.
What are your proudest moments as a football player?
Proudest moment, I'd probably have to say, just like any general time that I performed to my full potential, I think a good example was probably last year in the section finals against Harrison. Because earlier in the season against Harrison, I think I underperformed. I didn't have the best game. And in that game, in the section championship, I kind of really stepped up, and I think I had one of my better games in my career. So that was a pretty proud moment for me as a player.
For me, it would be in youth. In youth, we won 3 championships, and we played New Rochelle when I was in 4th grade. And I remember we had 4 overtimes, and I made a huge catch to score an extra point it was to tie the game and keep going, and we ended up winning that game. It was just an insane game, and I still think about it today.
All right. So how did you work up to where you are now as a player?
I think a lot of it has to do with weightlifting. I like to go to the gym a lot, so I take that seriously. So that definitely helps me on the field because it definitely gives you an advantage when you're strong. As a player, I think other sports also has a big impact on that. Playing lacrosse, such a fast game, it helps build up that speed, IQ as well. Just playing since I was so young really helps develop IQ and just knowledge about the game in general. My awareness as a running back is important. So just putting so many years into it really helped develop me to where I am now.
Throughout the year, I've had a lot more practice kicking. In the beginning of the year, I had a rough start against Ramapo. I had missed 2 extra points, but throughout practice and throughout this whole year, every single day I've been working with coaches. I've been just practicing kicking so much, and I've just improved, in my opinion, improved a lot.
So what NFL player would you compare yourself to, and why that player?
So, although I mentioned before, I do really like LaShawn McCoy. I don't know if I feel like that'd be giving myself a little too much credit if I compare myself to him, because I don't know if you guys have seen Shady highlights, but he was special. If I had to compare myself to someone, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question. I guess I'll stick with him just because that's kind of the person I really modeled my game after, just because I grew up admiring him, especially being a huge Eagles fan, you know. He was shifty, very shifty, and I think that's a good part of my game. I think I have the ability to make quick moves, so that's, if I had to compare to anyone, even though he's got the upper hand on me, I'd have to say LaShawn McCoy.
All right.
This is also a tough question for me. Yeah, honestly, Devontae Smith from the Eagles. It's one of my favorite players.
All right, and how do you feel about how this varsity football season has gone overall for you and the team?
I mean, I think it's obviously no denying that we're 8-0, so we've had tons of success so far. But I think some of the less seen part of it is how much we've developed as a team. Early in the season against Ramapo, we almost let that one slip away. I'm pretty sure, we were underperforming. We weren't as strong as we are now, especially in those first 3 weeks. We were tight with Yorktown all the way up until the final whistle. And Mayapack was in it with us until about the third quarter when we really took off. But I think since then, we found our chemistry better. Our offensive line is starting to develop a lot more. Our defense is coming together too. So I think all factors combined, we've had a great season, and we're just going to continue having a great season.
All right, and another question I'm going to ask before we go is, how do you feel to be on the same football team together?
I mean, it's definitely an experience that's unique. There's not many brothers on the team. I think the only other one is the Iglesias brothers. So I always wanted to be on the same team as my brother, but he didn't end up playing last year, and this is his first year coming back to football. So it's definitely very special, and it's cool when he kicks an extra point. I get to celebrate with him and stuff. And growing up in youth, I always thought about it. And now this year is the only year we get to do it together, so we're going to make the most out of it.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Benny.
Of course, thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be doing the Fantasy Football Challenge. So what we did, everyone selected one quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, defense, and a kicker for the week. So we got all those people. They're all combined, and whoever scores the most points out of us and Chris, seeing who's the highest wins. So we're going to go team by team. Let's just start with Jaden.
All right, so for quarterback, I got Jane Daniels with the crazy move recently, and he was on top of the list, so just picked him. For wide receiver, I got Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins. Running back, I got Kamara. I have him on in Benny's league. He's been doing pretty good for me, and I wanted that same results. For tight end, I was Kelsey on the Chiefs. Defense, I picked the Ravens. Look like they're doing pretty good so far. And for the kicker, I got Jake Elliott on the Eagles.
So for my fantasy team, I have at quarterback Jalen Hurts, wide receiver Malik Neighbors, running back Kyron Williams, tight end I have Cade Auden, the tight end for the Buccaneers, who I think is an underrated pick. Defense I have Broncos, and for my kicker I have Brandon Aubrey.
Now it's up to me. My QB is Josh Allen, which I think was just a steal. He was like third round or something. Then I got Justin Jefferson from the Vikings. I got Bijan from the Falcons. I got Brock Bowers from the Raiders, which I think was really underrated. He's actually the tight end 2 behind Kittle, but it's Kittle's bye week that week, so obviously I had to go Bowers. Defense, Bills against the Colts. I mean, it's Joe Flacco throwing the ball, so I don't really have any issues with that. And then kicker, I got Austin Seibert from the Commanders. He's, I think, kicker like 7 or 8, but it should be a really easy matchup. So that's my team.
All right, so starting off at the quarterback, I got a quarterback, not the top 4. I was able to take him last because I wanted this guy, and it's Joe Burrow playing a Raiders defense, which isn't the best. The Raiders haven't played the best football, so I got Joe Burrow as the QB, and then I have Jamar Chase as the wide receiver. My running back, I got Saquon Barkley from the Eagles, which has been playing amazing throughout the year. And then for my tight end, I have Kyle Pitts. For my defense, I have the Chiefs, which has been a great defense so far this year. And then for my kicker, I have Koo from the Falcons.
All right. So for my quarterback, I've got Lamar Jackson from the Ravens. And then with my first pick, I took wide receiver CeeDee Lamb from the Cowboys. He had a hot game last week, dropping around 40 points. Really good. My running back is going to be Jonathan Taylor from the Colts. I have Trey McBride from the Cardinals as my tight end. I took the Titans defense and Justin Tucker from the Ravens as my kicker.
Alright, so next up, if you missed the NFL this past week, we had one of the craziest plays in NFL history. It was a Jaden Daniels Hail Mary to win against the Bears, and it was crazy. You'll see it up there. It was just a crazy play overall. So because of that, we're going to be sharing our favorite and best play of all time. Let's get started with Philip.
So my best play, I think, of all time, Eli Manning in that Super Bowl, escaping the pocket with around 3 to 4 defenders, about a second. Drops back, he throws. There's 2 defenders on the tight end. Tight end still catches it using his hands on his helmet, which is then known as the infamous helmet catch, which also happens to be one of my favorite plays, coming from also the Giants fan. So I think that was one of the best plays and also my favorite play. What do you think, Brandon?
All right, so best modern time play, I think had to be Jaden Daniels Hail Mary against the Bears. That was that play went on for quite a few seconds. Little movement in the pocket. He was running around. The quarterback eventually got out of the pocket, did a little more running, and then made a throw. My favorite, I enjoy watching whatever nonsense Travis Kelce comes up whenever he has the ball in some of these situations where he starts throwing it around to whoever's near him.
I said my favorite and best play was the Minneapolis Miracle, and Stephon Diggs jumped up, caught the ball, final play of the game, scored a touchdown.
Alright, so for the best play of all time, I'm going original here. I'm saying the Immaculate Reception. It's an amazing play, most memorable play in NFL history, the first and number 1 play in the NFL top 100. I just think overall it's a top play because it shows it's a big part of NFL history, and yeah, first of many great plays in the NFL. And then for my favorite play, it's the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl 49 winning interception where the Patriots won the Super Bowl. This is because this is the first Super Bowl that the Patriots won I remember, and because the Patriots won that Super Bowl, it led me on a track to become a huge NFL fan. Who knows? If that didn't happen, maybe this club wouldn't exist.
So now we got the NFL midseason awards. So first we're going to start off with MVP. I think it's going to be Josh Allen. He's been playing amazing. I think he's only had 1 interception. So I think it's just going to be him. He's looking amazing in the air, on his feet. So that's my MVP. What about you, Chris?
I said Jared Goff is going to be the MVP. They beat in all the teams they versed by 30, versus the Titans last week. They beat them by 40, 52-14. What about you, Benny?
And I think the MVP is going to be Lamar Jackson. He's played great football and on track to win his second MVP.
I've got Patrick Mahomes here because we know that the NFL loves Patrick Mahomes. He must be their favorite player. He's probably the favorite player among the referees too. You know.
So now we're going to do our offensive play of the year. I got Saquon Barkley. Not really too favored upon for people to like him, especially Giants fans. But he's been playing outstanding behind that Eagles O-line, except for that center, which I don't know why he's on that team. But I think he's doing great right now. I was going to say Jamar Chase, just because he's looking phenomenal with Joe Burrow back, but I think Saquon's going to take it.
I said Derrick Henry is going to be the offensive player of the year. Because him and Lamar Jackson duo is going off right now. They've won a lot of games together.
All right, so next I've got CeeDee Lamb picking up what he's doing in these games, getting some more receptions.
All right, and for obvious reasons, I've got Justin Jefferson, a team that wasn't supposed to be great, and with his lead and Sam Darnold's lead, Vikings they were 5-0, and they're in contention to make the playoffs. So for obvious reasons, I've got Justin Jefferson.
All right, now we're going to introduce our defensive player of the year. I think it's going to be Dexter Lawrence. I mean, I was looking at the film. I was watching these Giants games. He's so good. Even though he's so big, I don't know how else to say it, he can still find his way to the quarterback. Even if it's a 2-on-1, he'll still get there. I think he's close to leading the league in sacks. So I think it's going to be Dexter Lawrence. What about you, Chris?
Before Aiden Hutchinson's injury, I would have said him. But now I'm saying TJ Watt. He's doing a lot of he's pressuring the quarterback a lot. I think he has around 5 sacks. What about you, Brandon?
I've got Nick Bosa from the 49ers.
And I don't know if these guys got the memo, but this is half-season awards, like who you think deserves it in that half of the season. And I know he's out for the season, but in his first bunch of games, he played amazing on the Lions, and I still think and the NFL even gave him this award for the mid-season Defensive Player of the Year. Aiden Hutchinson, even though he's out for the season, I think he still deserves it. And not for the whole season, but for the first half, I think Aiden Hutchinson deserves it.
So now we're starting our comeback player of the year. I think it's going to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was destroyed with injuries last year. It was everywhere. But now he's coming back. He's throwing to Jamar. He's throwing to T. Higgins. He's throwing everywhere. And I think it's going to be him. He's been playing amazing. What about you, Chris?
I said Nick Chubb's going to be comeback player of the year. First game back after like a year of injuries. He got his first touchdown of the season, and he's on the Browns, and they won their last game. So, yeah, what about you, Benny?
I think this should be a lock. Sam Darnold, he's come back from the hashes all the way from the bottom and has been leading this Vikings team to start off the season a 5-0 start, and now they're playoff contenders with the help of Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold looks like a star that he probably should have been years ago. Finally in the right situation. So I got Sam Darnold.
So now we got our coach of the year. I got Dan Quinn from the Commanders. He turned that team from a 4-13 or a 5-12 team or whatever the record was last year. Now they're 6-2 or 6-3. They're looking phenomenal this year. And it is part of Jaden Daniels, but everyone on that team, even the defense, is looking really well, and the O-line's holding up. So I think it's going to be Dan Quinn. What about you, Chris?
I'm saying Dan Campbell on the Lions because they've been blowing out every single team they versed this year. What about you, Brandon?
I've also got Dan Quinn along with Philip.
And I've got Dan Quinn, and that's for obvious reasons. A team that wasn't supposed to do amazing this year, but has gone off, and it's very impressive, I think, for obvious reasons. Dan Quinn gets Coach of the Year.
So now we're going to do our Rookie of the Year. I think this is pretty obvious. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. Turn a bottom team into a top team. They're looking like one of, if not second best, maybe third best team in the NFC right now. And I think they're doing phenomenal. What about you, Chris?
I agree with Philip. I said Jaden Daniels. He had that great throw last week for the Bears for the touchdown. What about you, Brandon?
We're all thinking alike here. I've got Jaden Daniels as well.
I think for obvious reasons, I got Jaden Daniel as well. Just very impressive football he's been playing as a rookie, nonetheless. All right, folks, so I'm here, and I'm going to predict the Packers' schedule for the rest of the 2024 NFL season. And this week, we got the Lions taking on the Packers. I think the Packers are going to get it done there. Packers win against the Lions. We got the Bears. I think they beat the Bears, so Packers get 2 wins in a row. They're 8-2. Then they take on the 49ers. I think 49ers are going to take this game. It'll be close like it was in the playoffs last year, but I think the 49ers get it done. Then we got the Dolphins, and I think this is a game the Dolphins are going to win this game, where Tua just got back. It's going to take them a few weeks to get back in the swing of things for the Dolphins, but I think by this game, Tua will be back in the swing of things, and the Dolphins will get a big win here, a win that is much needed for that team to continue playing for playoff contention. And then the Lions, I think in Week 14 this time, the Lions are going to beat the Packers. Then the Packers play the Seahawks. They did just drop 3 in a row, but I think they beat the Seahawks. Then they play the Saints. I think they get it done against the Saints. Against the Vikings, I think this will be a close game, but unlike they did earlier this season, I think they'll get it done against the Vikings. And in Week 18 versus the Bears, I think they're going to beat the Bears. So I have the Packers finishing 12-5 on the season. We are the Soma Sports Broadcasting Club.
See you next week.